So I got this Airbnb in Toronto for less than $1,500. And most people are paying in rent in Toronto to live by themselves, like $2,700. Mind you, this is on Airbnb.
Ontario is open for business.
The real estate market has gone crazy.
He said, if you don't like it, move out.
Labor costs and the price of construction materials have increased.
Predominantly, our housing supply comes through some form of investment and profit.
If you have a good deal right now in 2023, you're spending $2,400. If you're in Liberty Village, Toronto, and you got locked in a couple of years ago, you're still spending $1,900 to $2,200 if you have a really good deal in Liberty Village. Now, I'm basically in this Airbnb, basically all by myself, paying $1,500. I'm protected by Airbnb, and it's cleaned. It's clean for me. The garbage is taken out for me. Mind you, I'm making coffee on the stove. I forgot to buy coffee filters, so I'm making it in a pot. But Walmart's delivering my groceries today. I've learned every trick in the book, and I'm going to teach you how to apply them today. I've been to over 20 countries all around the world. You apply my tricks to Toronto, you're going to save thousands of dollars. So before I tell you how I accomplished this, I want you to know, if you're nice to people, and if you're actually good company, so if someone leaves the room feeling like, hey, he wasn't a douchebag, your life is going to be a lot easier. The first thing I did was complete my Airbnb profile. So I have 7 years on Airbnb. I have 18 reviews, which we're going to go through because I'm such a nice guy. So we got to see how much these hosts love me. The next thing is I'm born in the 90s. My work is Nadernejad Media Incorporated. We got to add the INC because that makes it more legit. My hobbies: travel, gym, outdoors, bonfires, and boxing. But I don't box my Airbnb hosts because I love them. Next thing, my most useless skill. I have a knack for doing accents. So I put that in there very lightly because people get offended by that. If they want me to do it, they can whisper it in my ear and I can show them in confidence, but not on camera because it will be clipped up and used against me. Fun fact, I am a Canadian and British dual citizen. I put that in there strategically because they look at my profile. Let's be honest. They think I'm gonna cook a really spicy curry. And I do that sometimes. I love my curry, but I'm not doing that in an Airbnb because if it's your home, it's different. But if I'm gonna fry fish, like my family my dad comes from the Rasht part of Iran, Rashti, Bandar Anzali. We like fish. If I were to cook a steaming, piping hot fish head, I would love the meal, but everybody wouldn't love the smell. And you have to remember this. You have to have like a bit of common decency. I don't get to turn this place into Nadernejad Media Incorporated. I get to use it. I get to leave it super clean, right? When I use a kitchen in my own place, I might leave a dish there and wash it 15 minutes later. When I'm in an Airbnb, I wash that dish immediately, I put it away, and I make sure there's no drops on the countertop. Flawless. I went to university. I am a graduate. I'm not homeless and going to steal the knickknacks in your house. Also, I speak, I'm not fluent in all these languages, but I speak Persian, French, a little bit of Russian, Thai, Turkish, Vietnamese. And my obsession, anything to do with food and culture. Very true. My biography title is Easy to Host. He even made me toast. Beautiful. Nader was a fantastic guest. He was polite, friendly, and respectful from day one. We would highly recommend to all hosts. Hong Jia says, really nice again. And then they said, great guest. And then Ivan, oh, these are my hosts in Serbia. They're just phenomenal. I got the whole place to myself, like a 3-bedroom. Beautiful Serbian kitchen. I was drinking raki and eating ivar day to day. They said, truly a gentleman, nice, polite, and kind. Nader's one of the guests. I am one of the guests. Nader is one of the wonderful guests, which is why your job is wonderful, dear friend. They're the sweetest people in the world. I just want to go back to Serbia just to stay there. Again, in Belgrade, I love this apartment. It's super functional, super beautiful. Nader's a great guest. Thank you so much. Gürkan, çok güzel. Great guest. I would like to host him again. Teşekkürler abi. G Residences Istanbul. We're glad to host them again anytime. Thank you for being there. This apartment was in like Bağcılar of Turkey, like this rough neighborhood. And I would walk outside. I always look pissed off just because I have big eyebrows. So nobody bothered me in the hood of Turkey. They thought I was Turkish anyway. Nader's a wonderful guest, compassionate, kind, warm-hearted. Ilahi she's great. I have her on Instagram now. Joanna in Kiev. Nod is a great guest. We had a good communication. He left the room perfect. This one, івано-франківськ. Nader locked the door and left the apartment. This is provided for us, but this was my only issue on Airbnb. This one I just made a mistake. I think we were in a rush. We didn't want to miss our train. And I had hung the key somewhere, but he said like it was okay. I still recommend him, which is good. Sergey. The guest is nice and quiet. I stayed with a couple friends, and so all my reviews are good, right? And this allows me to book anything that I want on Airbnb. Basically, let me teach you how it's done. Okay, I'm including this timestamp because I talked a lot of shit in the beginning of this video, so you can just skip here. You want to find a cheap Airbnb. Don't book the whole Airbnb. I made this mistake so many times. If you book the whole Airbnb, you're going to think, hey, I'm going to be fancy. I'm going to have a good view. I'm going to invite people over. I'm an expensive bachelor. Doesn't work that way. Pictures are never going to be as nice as the actual place. Secondarily, the economy is expensive. Even if I'm making $20,000 personally, I have to pay that out of my corporation. Half of that money I'm paying out of my corporation, I never got this before. That's gonna go to the CRA, like 8 grand of that, right? And then I'm going to pay for it. This is stupid, okay? I don't care how much money you're making, unless you are grossing 7 figures a year. You shouldn't be splurging like an idiot. Just get a room. Trust me, just get a room from an Airbnb post that doesn't have many reviews. If it's not good, you can cancel it. There is a thing with Airbnb that if the host hasn't had people in before, automatically, or as a suggestion, Airbnb is going to say, hey, for your first few guests, give it 30% off. Okay, there's a 30% discount. And if you book for a month, you're also getting a monthly discount. So with these two things combined, I'm going to transparently share my bill. From memory, it was less than $1,500. And I showed you what this place looks like. It's not in the middle of nowhere. I'm not in Scarborough. I'm not in Oshawa. I'm in North York, right? I'm in North York. And I like North York because I'm half Persian. So I can go to Richmond Hill. It's good geographically to go to Richmond Hill. I'm away from the city. Like if I got a place on, which I have before, on York Street, sure, I can see the CN Tower and it's beautiful, but my apartment's 300 square feet and I have to go up and down the elevator with a bunch of people, right? I value efficiency. So I get my Airbnb a little bit outside of the core of Toronto and make sure it looks modern enough, because you can really upscale photos, but I can tell the material of, I can tell the floor, I can tell like kind of how new this furniture is. And I can tell when photos are upscaled now. I used to not be able to, but I can really tell if the place is good. And then I'll send the host a message to get a further discount. I'll say, hey, I want to stay for a month. Can you just send me a little bit of like 10% discount? If it's already a good deal, I'm not going to squeeze people, right? It's not nice. But if I'm going to spend $2,300 for a bedroom, it's a bit silly. So I look for something in the $1,500 to $2,000 range. And then if it's like $1,700, I'll say like, hey, can you just give me a 10% discount? It's better to be upfront. Like, hey, I really want to get this for a month, but I'm just wondering, can you discount it because I'm staying for a month? Like, and they'll see your reviews and they'll go, yeah, sure. A month is very consistent. After that, you can move them off the Airbnb platform. So I can meet with a host later on in person and say like, I love this place. I made you steak probably. It was nice to you. Can I pay you in cash so we don't have to do the Airbnb fees? I'll pay you $1,500, but you invoice me. So they invoice me, and then what I do is I use this as a partial business expense, right? And in some cases, I actually have so many friends and family here, I'll literally live with my friends or my family, and I'll use this place as my studio or my recording office. That way, it is 100% a business expense, right? Here, I've barely been staying here, right? I use this exclusively for work. This is easier to film in than Halifax. The space is a bit more cooped up. Here I can move around. I have fun all day. I drink my coffee. And when I want to socialize, I go to Toronto. When it's too much, I come back, right? So this place has worked phenomenally for me. I'm going to show you how to get the cheapest Airbnb, cheaper than the rental market, fully furnished, protected by the Airbnb platform, and for a whole month in the most expensive month, December, right when Christmas and New Year is happening. And I just want to prove my point. We go to Toronto, notoriously expensive city. Mind you, it's 2023. From December 1st to the 31st, we're going to do this whole month, okay? And now look at our monthly discounts. 1715 without the monthly discount, right? I've already spoken to this lady and she's offered a further $100 discount. This one in Toronto, it's a little bit less modern, but as you can see, it's $1,300, right? This one here, $1,300, $1,700. Now you're getting a room, right? We're not getting the whole place. This is for a room, but you have to understand if the Airbnb is new, it's going to have no guests. So for example, I would choose this one. She's an interior designer. You can tell the pictures are nicer and more modern than this one. It is a little bit more expensive and there's no monthly discount. So, and this is a superhost. So if I actually message the superhost and I say like, hey, can you bring this down $200 for me? Because I was looking at this other room in the downtown core almost. Yours is a little bit more east. No, yours is a little bit more west from where I'm looking for. And you have no reviews on this. Can you just give me a $200 discount? I'll book for a whole month. She'll see your reviews. She might say no, only 100. She might say no at all. But again, she offered me a $100 discount. So this is the one I would pick. If you're really trying to go like as inexpensively as possible and you want to find a place in Toronto, you can get this one for a month, right? And it's pretty downtown. I'm staying north, but I didn't have to stay that north. I got a great apartment, so much space because I went more north. But you can actually zoom into the map and look at all the prices. I'd stay away from this unless I'm getting something very luxury. I don't want to spend that. If I go to, I'm just looking around here, $15.95, I can click there and say, okay, it's a little bit older than my liking, but the bedroom's good. I could work at this desk. I'll check and see if they have high-speed internet. They've never had a booking before. So again, look, we have a bigger monthly discount. Where can you get a fully furnished place in Toronto for $1,200? Using monthly discounts, this is cheaper than the rental market on Airbnb in Turkey. Unless you're using ssä, the Turkish app, you're gonna save a lot of money. I can even send him a message and say, can you give me a $100 discount? Half the time, Airbnb hosts don't do the math, right? Okay, so it's actually going to come to $1,613. So but it's Queen and Bathurst. It's in downtown Toronto. So take a look at this, get some reviews, follow my advice, and ask them for a little bit of leniency. And you can replicate this. And if you're looking for an apartment in Toronto, you don't have to keep booking 3-day-long Airbnbs for $400 every day. You can just get a month, set up, rest for a week, and then go and check out places. Now, this video isn't about how to find an apartment in Toronto. I'll make a video about that next. This one's how to secure your Airbnb. Whether you're moving, whether you're traveling, this is how you get the best deal. Find a room. You don't need to spend $4,000 for the whole place. There's one other person who lives here. The host doesn't even live here. He's from Taiwan. He's in his room and he leaves. I think he goes to like a language school all day long. So if we hung out, it would be cool. I'd be fine with that. The beauty of Airbnb is if the other guests are rowdy, you can just send a message to the host and say, hey, it's an Airbnb. I need things to be calm. I don't want my guest, and so they'll take care of it for you. And it's super easy, super great. So this is how I secure the Airbnb.